Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you?
I need blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you?
These poor souls have so...
The world would be a better place.
You make me blush.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient, or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet
Nuestra chismosa.
Jones. Not a pin drops
La
here without
negra,
her
la
hearing
negra
about
candela.
it.
No, 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 mentiras, no, 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 estoy molestando, esto es
My
un
life,
chascarrillo.
as
Chascarrillo.
others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
¿Este es el mismo de ahorita? No. No, este es otro nuevo, creo.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous...
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What can you tell me about...
Some are really good, and others are...
Any opinion about...
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's research.
Ah, yes, the burden of command.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator.
Tell me more about...
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl.
You really seem to admire her skill.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a...
What is the Pembroke Hospital?
This hospital is not exactly the best.
It's more than enough. In any case, the person...
Don't be misled by appearances.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep...
Nurse Brannigan is worried.
She should not have told you that.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man.
Have you heard of any...
I have no time for such triviality.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Bueno, vamos a hablar con la chismosita de acá del barrio. Ah, aquí está la hijo de madre.
What is this? Who are you?
This
Get
is
out
cool.
of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Cállese, cállese. No, soy que ser decente.
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? If you have irrefutable proof,
Eso no era, pero
I'll not
bueno.
have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
Buen dato.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
No, y ahora me toca encontrar cuál es quiénes son los promiscuos ahí.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them. Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard rumors of underhand dealings in the hospital?
If you want to know what's going on here, you better talk to Miss Jones. She knows everything. Especially what she shouldn't.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
You're disgust on every street corner.
Hello again, Dr. Reed. I feel better already. Can I go soon?
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Going to reveal all your secrets to me, even the darkest thoughts in your heart.
My blood and soul, they belong to you now.
The life running in your veins. This dead flesh needs it.
Oh, please spare me, Dark Queen. Spare your obedient slave.
Me voy por acá, casual. Estoy saliendo casual.
I wish I could be sick again. Blood boil with the fever.
The daily routine.
Yo pensé que le iba a morder, lo iba a morder y no.
Damn. The pain.
Good evening, Miss
Here
Hull.
again.
How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I lost its effect on me. But the suffering continues.
Qué vuelta tan...
Good evening, sir. Doctor,
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Have you heard rumors about blackmail in this hospital?
No?
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So pain.
Tell me about yourself.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't...
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you heard...
Dr. Reed, are you...
Of course not, Mrs. Goswick.
Well, go be curious somewhere else.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as...
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gen...
Do you know if any of the hospital staff...
The people who work here...
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
Have you seen a...
I've never heard...
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Milk.
Good evening, Doc.
Have you heard of any under...
There are a lot...
What kind?
I'm not in...
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Do you need medical help yourself, nurse?
I'm fine, really. I just need to sleep.
How would you describe...
It's serious. The flu...
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't...
I wish I could believe you.
You must get...
Sorry.
How long have...
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is...
You'd be surprised what dedication...
Sorry, Doc.
How is the Pembrokes?
Well, not well.
Why is Milton grumpy?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just...
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps...
She could have been telling the truth about...
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough.
What can you...
Let me get...
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
It's here again.
Don't worry, sir. We're going to take care of it.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. It's locked, all right.
Sí, creo que me hace falta resistencia porque ahorita quedo expuesto.